The galaxy was quiet that night, or at least it seemed quiet to me. I had never been a person who noticed the hum of stars or the subtle flicker of distant suns, but the silence aboard the transport ship was unnerving. 3 hours ago, I had been captured during a routine reconnaissance mission on the moon of Vera 9, and now I was confined in a small observation room with nothing but a viewport, a blinking control panel, and the feeling that my fate was slipping further from my control. I had heard the rumors of the princess before. Every star system seemed to have whispers of her beauty, her intelligence, and her audacity. But rumors are never preparation for reality. When the doors hissed open, I didn't expect her. Yet there she was. She floated into the room, as if gravity and concern alike bent around her. The alien princess was unlike anything I had seen in my life. Her skin shimmered faintly like the surface of a pearl under moonlight, and her eyes, oh, those eyes, were liquid silver, vast and deep, reflecting not just light, but thoughts I couldn't read. 3 coins spun in the air around her fingers, tiny objects glowing with an ethereal light. "You are human," she said, her voice melodious, carrying an accent I couldn't place. "Not very many of you make it this far." She paused, her gaze piercing me in a way that made my own skin crawl. "But tell me, would you be my husband?" I blinked. That was not the line of questioning I had expected. A princess proposing, literally proposing, marriage to a captured human soldier? My first instinct was to laugh. My second instinct was to check if someone had secretly drugged me. But when I looked at her, poised and unwavering, I realized she was deadly serious. I think you might have the wrong human," I stammered. She tilted her head, spinning the 3 coins again. They hovered in a perfect triangular formation, glowing softly, casting ghostly lights across her regal features. "No mistake. I have chosen you. The question is, will you accept, and what will you offer in return?" I swallowed. "Offer?" "Yes," she said. Her lips curved slightly. "I give you a choice. One of these 3 coins. Each coin represents a different bond, a different future. You choose, and your answer will decide what comes next." My military training screamed at me to decline, to stall, to escape. But part of me, the part that had longed for something extraordinary, couldn't look away. "The coins?" I asked cautiously. "What do they mean?" She held out her hand, letting the coins float toward me, then pause in midair just inches from my face. They were small, round, impossibly smooth. Each one had an inscription in a language I couldn't decipher, yet somehow understood. 1 coin for loyalty, 1 for love, 1 for freedom. "You see," she said, "if you take the coin of loyalty, you pledge yourself to me in service and obedience. The coin of love binds our hearts, though the path may be perilous. The coin of freedom allows you to choose your destiny, even if it means leaving me behind." I stared. My heart pounded. I had faced gunfire, hostile planets, and alien predators, but this was different. This was the kind of decision that could reshape my life in ways I wasn't prepared for. Before I could answer, she leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "But know this, human soldier. Whatever you choose, you will never be the same. You will carry me, in some way, for the rest of your life." I looked at the coins again. Loyalty, love, freedom. All tempting, all terrifying. And then, instinctively, I reached out. My fingers brushed the coin of love. The instant I did, a warmth surged through me, unlike anything I had ever felt. The room seemed to dissolve around us, replaced with a vision of countless stars and galaxies intertwining. Her silver eyes met mine, and in that moment, I understood her completely. This was no ordinary princess, no simple politics or strategy. She was a force, a being beyond human comprehension, and yet she had chosen me. "Then it is done," she said softly. The coins disappeared into a shimmer of light, and she reached for my hand.
I didn't resist.
Somehow, resisting felt wrong. The days that followed were surreal. She took me to her palace aboard the orbiting citadel of Vera 9. Unlike any human architecture, the palace seemed alive, responsive to thoughts, capable of shifting and changing like liquid crystal. She introduced me to her court, not with ceremony, but with quiet confidence. "You will learn," she said, "that this galaxy is ruled not by weapons or fleets alone, but by choices. And choices ripple." I tried to understand her world, to grasp its politics, its culture. I trained in her arts of diplomacy, navigation, and even subtle psychic manipulation. Her people, initially wary of me, began to accept my presence. And through it all, she remained constant, a radiant anchor in the storm of my new reality. But life with the princess was not without its trials. Other factions sought to undermine her rule. Assassins, rival monarchs, mercenaries, everything that could threaten the stability of her reign became my concern as well. I realized quickly that by choosing love, I had also chosen danger. One night, as we observed the sprawling city of Vera 9 from the palace's sky terraces, she handed me the 3 coins again, this time as a demonstration. "Do you understand now why I offered you this choice?" she asked. "I think so," I replied. It wasn't just about marriage or partnership. It was about trust, about knowing the person you choose is ready to stand with you, no matter what the cost. She smiled.
Exactly.
"And you chose wisely. The coin of love, it is rare that a human chooses it willingly, without coercion or calculation." I laughed softly. I didn't choose wisely. I chose instinctively. I didn't know what I was doing. Her eyes softened. Sometimes, instinct is the wisest guide of all. Weeks turned into months. Together, we navigated threats from the Black Sun cartel, negotiated fragile alliances with neighboring systems, and even survived an attempted invasion of her citadel. Through it all, our bond grew not only as partners but as friends, confidants, and eventually, as something deeper. It was during the height of a solar storm, a tempest that made the very atmosphere of Vera 9 crackle with energy, that the princess turned to me and said, "I have never asked anyone this before. But will you remain with me? Not as a soldier, not as a protector, but as my husband." I looked into her eyes, saw the vulnerability beneath her regal demeanor, and realized something profound. No matter the galaxy, no matter the stakes, no matter the dangers ahead, this was where I belonged. "Yes," I said, "I will, with all that I am." Her hand found mine, the warmth of her touch grounding me amidst the chaos of the storm. And as the heavens above Vera 9 erupted in electric brilliance, I felt, for the first time, a profound sense of home. The years that followed were a blend of adventure and domesticity, diplomacy and danger. We ruled together, faced challenges that could have broken lesser beings, and discovered joy in the smallest moments, shared laughter, whispered secrets, quiet evenings aboard the Citadel Terrace. And always, the 3 coins remained a symbol of our choice, a reminder of the bold question that had altered the course of my life forever. One day, as our own child, a tiny hybrid of human and Varan heritage, giggled in the palace garden. The princess turned to me and whispered, "Do you remember the coins?" I smiled, kneeling beside our child and lifting them into my arms. "I do. I remember every second." She placed her hand on my shoulder, her gaze sweeping across the horizon of stars that had once seemed so distant, so unattainable. "And do you remember why I asked?" "Yes," I said, "because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to ask for what you want." Her laughter, soft and musical, echoed across the palace walls. "And sometimes," she said, leaning in to kiss me, "the bravest thing is to answer." That night, as the twin moons of Vera 9 rose over the horizon, I reflected on everything that had brought me here, the battles, the choices, the terrifying unknowns. And I understood, fully, that life was never about certainty. It was about courage, about connection, about embracing the unexpected. The 3 coins had taught me more than any mission, any battle, any strategy manual ever could. They had taught me that love, loyalty, and freedom were not just concepts. They were choices we made every day. And as I looked at the princess, radiant and unyielding, I knew that my choice, the choice to love her, to stand with her, to become her husband, was the most consequential decision of my life. Not because of duty or politics, but because it had made me fully, unmistakably human in a galaxy of wonders I had never imagined. 3 coins, 1 human, and a bold question that changed everything. It was a story that would endure, not just in the stars, but in the hearts of all who believed that sometimes the impossible could become reality. The years that followed were a tapestry of wonder and challenge. Together we ruled, not as monarch and soldier, but as partners, equal in courage, equal in heart. Each decision we made, every alliance we forged, carried the weight of countless lives, yet somehow, in the chaos, we found joy. We laughed in the corridors of the palace, danced under alien constellations, and discovered the quiet intimacy of sharing a life with someone who truly saw you. The 3 coins, now kept in a crystal vault within the citadel, became more than symbols. They were reminders. They reminded us that our love had been a choice, deliberate yet instinctive, born of bravery and trust. We had survived assassination attempts, sabotage, and betrayals, yet each trial had only bound us closer together. Her hand in mine was a constant, grounding me even in the most turbulent of storms. One evening, as the twin moons of Vera 9 bathed the palace in silver light, the princess led me to the sky terrace. She pointed to the horizon where the stars shimmered like scattered diamonds. "Do you remember the first time I asked you to choose?" she whispered, her eyes reflecting the galaxy itself. I nodded, remembering the coins spinning between her fingers, the impossible question, the choice that had reshaped everything. "I do," I said softly. "I remember every heartbeat of it." She smiled, a tender, radiant smile that carried decades of memory and unspoken understanding. "You chose love," she said, "but love is not a single act. It is the sum of countless moments, the courage to stand beside someone every day, no matter the danger, no matter the distance, no matter the trials." I took her hand and pressed it to my chest. "I will always choose you," I promised. "Every day, in every way, through every battle, every decision, every moment of joy and pain. You are my home." Her eyes glistened with unshed tears, and she leaned in to press her forehead against mine. "And you are mine," she whispered. The wind from the twin moons wrapped around us, as if blessing our union. I realized then that the true power of her question, the bold question that had seemed impossible at first, was not about status, duty, or destiny. It was about trust, vulnerability, and the willingness to step into uncertainty together. In that moment, our lives felt infinite. The citadel, the stars, the entire galaxy seemed to pause, acknowledging the profound bond we had forged. We were not merely human and alien. We were companions, lovers, and equals, bound by choice and heart. Years passed. Our child, a beautiful hybrid of human resilience and barren grace, grew within the palace gardens, laughing and learning under our watchful eyes. Watching them play beneath alien suns, I realized that the legacy of the 3 coins was not just ours. It belonged to the future, to a family built not on fear or obligation, but on love and courage. One quiet night, as I sat beside the princess on the palace balcony, I reflected on our journey. I had come from a world of rigid orders and predictable missions, expecting to serve, to fight, to survive. Instead, I had found something far greater: connection, choice, and a love that transcended species, stars, and circumstance. The princess rested her head on my shoulder. "Do you ever regret choosing love?" she asked softly. I shook my head. "Never," I said. "It was the bravest thing I've ever done. And it's only made me stronger, happier, more human than I ever imagined I could be." She smiled, her silver eyes catching the starlight. "Then we have truly won, haven't we?" "Yes," I said. "Not because we conquered planets or defeated enemies, but because we chose each other." The wind carried her laughter into the night, mingling with the hum of distant stars. And for the first time in my life, I understood what it meant to be home. Not in a place, not in a palace, but in a heart that mirrored my own, fearless, radiant, and eternal. As the twin moons set and the first light of a new day touched the citadel, I knew this was only the beginning. There would be challenges, there would be battles, there would be dangers that stretched across the galaxy, but together, we could face anything. 3 coins had started it all, a bold question that changed my life forever. But love, that boundless, impossible, courageous love, was what carried us through every trial. And as I looked at her, the princess who had chosen me, I knew that no matter what came next, we would always choose each other again. Because in the vast expanse of the universe, some choices define eternity. And ours had.